Today, we're turning up the volume with Southern rock legends Preacher Stone, hailing from North Carolina. These rock and roll veterans have been delivering powerful guitar-driven tracks with raw emotion and authenticity. From rocking stages with icons like Leonard Skinner, ZZ Top, to building a loyal fan base known as the Congregation, they have earned their place in the world of Southern rock. Their album Five, or V as we call it, can be called that too, is packed with heart, grit, and groove. And their latest single, Dance with the Devil, brings even more fire to the mix. Jim and Ronnie from Preacher Stone, how you doing?
Doing great, George. How are you, brother? Great.
I- I'm doing awesome, man. Up here in Canada, meet me for coffee with a great Southern rock band. And when I look at Southern rock and the pillars of Southern rock, I immediately, when I listen to your music, what I do when I listen to artists that come on the show before to prepare is I go to I like Spotify because it has those mixed playlists. I got to go through all the stuff and whatever like that, and hear what the band actually sounds like or how it's developed or the generation of like the first album, the second album, and the latest tracks all mixed together. I hear Leonard Skinner. And I just pulled something up here earlier, but the pillars of Southern rock, because I love Southern rock so much. The Allman Brothers Band, ZZ Top, Molly Hatchet, the Marshall Tucker Band, 38 Special, Blackfoot, and Outlaws. Jim, let's talk about your pillars of rock and roll or Southern rock. Who are your big
Yeah, well, I
influences?
mean, it's kind of funny. You named the everything that's in the well I draw water out of today, but I'm an old metalhead from back in the day. I'm a Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath fan. If it wasn't for Geezer Butler and Steve Harris, I probably wouldn't pick up a bass guitar at all. I'd be a piano player or something. But
Yeah.
as far as Southern rock, I mean, Allman Brothers. I mean, just in the area that we live in and what we've grown up around. Over the years, I mean, the Marshall Tucker band, Doug Gray and those guys live about an hour from us down in Spartanburg. So, I mean, they're all around the area, and that's who you named everybody. I mean, that everybody thinks of, but there's so many other good Southern rock bands out right now that are still kicking. You got your Blackberry Smokes and your Georgia Thunderbolts and Kentucky Headhunters, and actually another friends of ours named Otis. They're from Kentucky. The genre is in great hands, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? If it wasn't for some of those bass players you mentioned, I would have never picked up the bass myself. Even Rudy Sarzo. I'm actually one of
Oh,
those
dude,
weirdos that
I love
recognized
Rudy.
him at a coffee shop, and he asked me how do I
Yeah,
recognize him. I was like, "Hey, Rudy Sarzo, man."
yeah. I ran sound for Quiet Riot at a local bar one time when they came through and kept before Kevin Dubrow passed away, and Rudy actually introduced himself, and Kevin actually introduced himself to me. Yeah, I'm like no 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 oh, I know exactly who you are. What are you talking? So hi, I'm Rudy. I'm like, yeah, no crap. Yeah, love Rudy Sarzo.
Absolutely. Fantastic bass player, interesting picking pattern. And he just emphasizes every note.
Yeah, man.
What are some of your go-tos as in you know, when I look at Southern rock, um, how do you balance honoring the genre's traditions and with keeping your music fresh and relevant to today's listeners?
You asking me or Ronnie? Go ahead, Ronnie.
I don't think it's. I have a Southern accent, and I can't deny that. And everything that everybody in the band's a Southerner, and anything that we're done is like Tom Petty quote. It's going to be done with a Southern accent. All these influences that we had growing up, all those people that you mentioned, plus, I may be the world's biggest Thin Lizzy fan. I love Bad Company, Free, all the classic stuff. Plus, and then even throwing Charlie Daniels in as a storyteller. I think I don't know that it's a conscious process that we try to really honor anything. We just do what we do. And it's going to come across Southern because I
Yeah,
can't sound any other way. And people hear my voice and go, there's a story, and he sounds like he's from, Georgia or whatever. So it's got to be Southern rock. So I think it's just kind of honestly us being us.
Hmm.
yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of the rock and roll bands from the Carolinas down through Florida, basically rock and roll bands. We just happen to hail from the South, and somebody along the way named the genre. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Ronnie, you've been in the industry. We both have been in the industry for a while now, but we'll start with Ronnie on this. What's a misconception people still have about Southern rock or being part of that scene?
That it's all that the only people that like it are from the southern part of the United States.
That's true.
That was the biggest eye opener for me because the first time we went on the Leonard Skinner cruise, I laughed and I said, "Man, we're going to be right at home with everybody from North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, and Georgia and Alabama. Maybe a Mississippi person every once in a while." It couldn't have been. I couldn't have been more wrong. Well, New Zealand, Scotland, Ireland, Germany, France. I mean, everybody all over, every corner of the globe is people are coming. And, we even, the last time we were on Rock Legends cruise, we, we noticed that some of the people that worked in the kitchen from the Philippines were just really starstruck with us. And we were like, who's heard of us in the Philippines? And this guy finally said, you're a big deal in the Philippines. Can we have something of yours? I was like, here's my shirt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when the bartender that came from the Philippines recognizes Preacher Stone and wants a shirt, he'll trade you for a liquor drink.
Yeah,
then that's exactly what you do.
Yeah. So that was the biggest misconception. Yeah. And in America, I don't know that it's cool to be Southern rock, but it's cool to be Southern rock in the UK and in other places, and that's why we go there.
Jim, you've built a strong fan base known as the Congregation.
Sir.
What do you think has kept them so loyal and connected to your music over the years?
The thing about the folks that actually join the Congregation and become, I mean, we don't necessarily make fans. We've made true lifetime friendships with some of these people we've met, and they're just we're accessible during shows on these cruises, especially when you've got a captive 3,000 person audience on these cruises, and a lot of bands hide in their rooms and all that. Not us. I mean, we're out playing games and swimming and and watching other bands and doing things, and I think our folks go, oh, you guys are just like us. You're just like we are. And there's like, well, yeah, go get me a beer, type of thing. I'll go get you a beer next round, type of thing. And that's it's just being honest with them, and they support us, and we support them right back.
Yeah, I mean, like having a good like family kind of feel to your group, your following, can go a long way. Obviously, most of them have probably heard your newest record, Five. It's receiving or already has received praise from critics and fans alike. What do you think sets this album apart from your previous records, Jim?
I think it's the fact that everybody pretty much had a hand in all the guys in the band had a hand in one or two of the songs. It was more of a collaboration. Some of the earlier stuff was, obviously penned by the founder Marty Hill, rest in peace. But with Ronnie, and they had a few band member changes along the way. And ever since Remedy came out, we've had the lineup we should have had the entire time. This group's been together longer than any lineup ever. With it, and everybody kind of had their input, and it shows this particular group's growth, and being 3 songs down on the next new record that's to be released next year. Where it's getting better and better.
It's continuing.
Yeah, it's a continuation of what's been going on. I play with some talented boys, so everybody just they're able to put their own 2 cents in, and there you go.
Ronnie, like, what's been the most challenging moment for the band? Jim mentioned the lineup. How did you guys overcome it?
Well, when Marty started the band, and it was Marty was very driven and very committed to making this work, as was I. And you find out that when you're in a band with other people, and everybody doesn't always see the things the way that you see them, and people go their separate ways. We gradually worked our way through a lot of different people until Jim joined, and then Ben came in after Jim, and then we got Wyatt, And I guess what we accomplished was, it was challenging until you meet until you get a group of people who see things the same way and are committed in the same way. And
it's a work ethic type thing.
Work ethic, but also too, we actually enjoy each other's company. And I know everybody, everybody always use that cliche thing. They're a band of brothers, and I hate that phrase. We're worse than brothers. I mean, we've seen each other in our best moments and our worst moments, good times and bad times, and it just makes you closer. And I think going back to what Jim was saying about the process of five, we've developed a level of trust among us where nobody tells anybody else how to be themselves. Everybody contributes in their own way, and there's a real magic to it. But the biggest challenge with member changes is the feeling that you go, oh God, here we go again. We gotta work all this back up again. We gotta bring somebody in. But for the last 9-10 years, it's just been forward, and that's been a really good thing.
Yeah, forward is some of the best thing you can do if you want to, move forward with your band and keep the memory of people alive, right? I mean,
it's been a rough year for us. We've buried 2 guys, and 2 fantastic musicians, 2 of the best dudes that you'd ever want to hang out with and have a beer with, and it's been pretty rough. But knowing what we knew going into Marty's situation, he made us pinky swear that this is not going to stop, and handpicked Nick, the fellow that's playing with us now. I mean, he played with us on many stages with Marty. He was basically a 7th man living in Nashville. So and now he's picked right back up where Marty left off, and we're man, it's been a hell of a road, but it's just made it stronger, I think.
I mean, you don't really replace Marty.
No, I mean, you don't replace Marty.
You just don't. And everybody was like, "What are y'all going to do now? What are you going to do?" And the inbox started filling up. Well, you guys going to continue? And Marty'd come back and get me if we didn't continue. Oh, yeah. And that without getting, I still can't talk about that too much, but there wasn't a question that we wouldn't go on. We were basically ordered to continue. So
yeah, I agree with that.
Your new single, Dance the Devil, dives into the fine line between good and bad. And how did you guys emerge with that theme in your songwriting process? And how do you see it connecting with your fans?
The coolest thing for me is, for me personally, and probably the most rewarding thing other than meeting good people when we play, is when the musical idea starts to come together, and I grab a legal pad and go sit in the couch in the band room, and think to myself, what does that sound like? What's going on? What does this musical landscape call for? And I just, it sounds dark, it sounds ominous, and it's powerful, and if you grow up in the South, if you don't live in the South, but you only know the TV version of the South, you don't know that there's constantly an undertone of darkness in the South. There's, I mean,
not quite so bad.
It is. It really is. I mean, not maybe in everybody's neighborhood, but you don't have to drive too far to find it. And some of the nicest people in the world can have such a dark side, and that I think that's what the song's about. It's like, everybody's kind of got their darker side, and if you're going to have a darker side, you may as well go all the way with it. And so that's kind of maybe a terrible message for the youth of America. But
I grew up on Iron Maiden.
Yeah, that's just it's all God's children's got their darker side. That's kind of what that song's about. And there's always some guy in every Southern town that can get you anything that you need. And we sort of tip the hat to that guy, and
it's a recurring character.
Yeah, and the character that we refer to as Uncle Jake. And Uncle Jake has made an appearance on all 5 Preacher Stone records, and he'll be around for 6 too. I'm right now trying to figure out what he's going to do for Act 6, but it just, I don't know. I've always had difficulty with writing "Baby, I love you, baby, I need you forever." I would rather tell a story. So that, yeah, I don't know if I answered your question, but I don't.
Nope.
My
You
mind's
definitely
kind
did.
of a scary. My mind's a scary place.
Absolutely, yeah. And sometimes the thoughts and the lyrics just come out, right? You just can't control it.
Yes, and a lot of times, I'll be honest with you. A lot of times, Jim Bolt's responsible for a lot of our lines because he'll say something and I'll laugh and I'll go, "I'm using that. I'll stick that in there." And I'll be glad to sit with anybody and point out every Jim Bolt line that I got. That's another great thing about this. We're basically egoless when it comes to, we just want to make good music and be a good band. And as long as we don't care who wins, as long as we all win. So it's a good thing.
I mean, your music has three things that I think everyone looks for in either Southern rock or in their favorite genre in general. Edgy, raw, and full of emotion kind of feel, right? Where it kind of connects with someone and you guys have a lot of groove and some awesome riffs and having performed alongside legendary acts like Leonard Skinner and ZZ Top and Deep Purple. What have been some of your most valuable lessons you've learned from sharing the stage with these guys?
I think basically how to actually tour on big stages. I mean, you can be the greatest band in your garage all you want to. I mean, because it's not the 90 minutes that you're playing on stage. It's the other 22 and a half hours you got to do. Yeah, that's what gets you. I mean, it's touring, it's traveling, it's showing up on time, and it's being on your game when you're not on your game. I mean, I've seen these guys, a lot of the bigger acts, just how they go about their business, and how their machine works and everything, because not everybody gets to see behind the curtain, and we've realized everybody's got a dang camera with them. Everybody's going to be recording you. Everybody watches your show through a screen, but they've got it. So I mean, if you go up there and lay a big old goose egg, then everybody's going to see it.
Yeah, I remember when that changed. I remember when the cameras first came out. I'm like, man, I wish there's some way we could stop them from filming it. And then about a year later, it's like, hell,
you can't stop anybody from filming.
You just better not be bad tonight. That's all there is to it.
And actually being a part of those shows and a part of those productions and festivals and different things, and and showing the either the promoters or the management or the people that we come into contact that these guys they know what they're doing. They're just not out here doing whatever. They didn't win a local battle of the bands and they get to open up the show. They got 7 more dates with us out here, or whatever.
We had a great experience with Grand Funk in our hometown, Kannapolis, and Grand Funk was awesome. And we actually did our pregame prayer thing with Bruce Kulick was involved.
Bruce Kulick was in the prayer circle. He got in. We do a football thing before we go on and play. And
I'm sitting there thinking, inside we're going, he was in Kiss, that
Bruce
kind
Kulick
of thing.
From Kiss. He's in our prayer circle, bro.
but we the reason I bring it up is we're local. We were playing in our local place. There's about 15,000 people there, and we're ripping through the last 3 songs, and there were stage managers going, "You got to stop! You got to stop! You got to stop!" Like, I can't stop this. I'm talking while the guys play. Give me 30 seconds, 2 minutes, and we're done. So we finished, and the word afterwards was, they said, "I thought this was a local band," and somebody goes, "Well, they are from here."
Yeah, they do live here. They were mad that somebody brought in a ringer. It's like,
this is intense, and we were just thrilled to death to be playing with Grand Funk. We didn't
3 minutes from the band room. We were. I mean, honestly, everybody just drove their personal cars over. There weren't any buses. There weren't anything.
It was great.
I showed up in my pickup truck.
The guys in Grand Funk were really nice afterwards, but they were like, "We had no idea. We thought you guys were a local band." I said, "I guess this is a compliment."
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what that means, but
Well, you don't know who's in that city that you're touring in, right? There's so many great bands out there.
Man.
and going back to the professionalism of all those other bands and what you
Sure.
guys have learned, how many band members are sick on stage and still have to just put on that face, put on a good show? You almost have to go out there and like put all your worries to the side and
Yeah.
perform for that night, even though if it's something very, very serious.
That's the one night they came to see you. They don't really care about the other
Yeah,
nights.
exactly. Well, see, I played on stage running 102-degree temperature before, just just absolutely dead. But something about when the lights drop, and the hammer drops and the song goes, adrenaline's a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It gets you going, and then of course you go and you fall into the van or the bus or whatever, and you die. 30 minutes after you're finished. But you just got to do it. You've got the opportunity to play in front of folks who have paid their hard-earned money to come see you play, and be quite honest with you, and not too brash of terms, but they don't give a damn if you're sick or not. They paid their money. They want to come see, what they want to see,
And
and you got to give it.
we also contend with the fact that we have a lot of people fly in from other parts of the country and other parts of the world to see us and make a big trip out of it. And that's a little bit of added pressure.
Yeah.
But you were talking about things that you learn. Um, Singers will congregate together. They'll find each other. And especially on like the cruises or anytime you're in a captive area, and they'll start the conversation. What do you do when you're hurting?
Oh, yeah.
And you sit there and you listen to all these guys with all their remedies. And I've tried everything that everybody's, like the nights that your throat's not right or it's a problem, and I just think it's really cool that somebody goes, well, what do you do when you got a sore throat? And I said, well, my personal go-to is Lay's potato chips and Jack Daniels, not the whole bottle, just a little bit, to get a little warmth there. But it's like Dan Baird Dan Baird and Homemade Sinner was a singer for the Georgia Satellites. He's like, dude, it's aloe vera juice with pulp in it. You got to try it. Well, it works, and somebody else is this. So you just learn little tricks of the trade, and if you're just constantly vigilant, which me and all of us, we're as big of fans as we are band members. And you see what your hero's doing, or you see what somebody you admire is doing, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna do that.
So, or you ask Jimmy Hall from Wet Willie, so what do you do with your voice? He goes, nothing. I just use what the Lord gives me on the night I'm giving it. That's all he says.
You would be surprised how many times that's gone through my mind when I'm going, am I going to be able to hit this note?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But we got to keep it raw and real, right? Like,
it's all that's yeah. Our vocals are raw and real.
Absolutely, I love that.
Speaking of which, you talked about the power or whatever on Five. I think one of the things about Five was, and this is so cliche to say, but it's the honest to God truth. We recorded that live. I mean,
all the rhythm tracks just played because we were so prepared.
Yeah, all the rhythm tracks are played, and it was Jim's suggestion. I thought it was brilliant when it came time to play your solo. You just played your solo. You could go back and record it later. You could go back and overdub it, but don't play this fictitious rhythm, I believe is what you called it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
underneath
it,
things, it's not going to be there.
37 rhythm guitars behind a solo that nobody's ever going to see live because it don't exist.
Right. And we ended up doing things like just putting an acoustic in the background of the solos and give it a little bit of levity, a little bit. And I think that really added to what you were talking about, the grit and the honesty of it. It's made it really punchy and really powerful.
Well, I like to hear that too, because, as a musician in my past, I don't like playing the click track at all. I don't, I'm a bass player as well. Right. So,
yeah,
I like to play, and having that artificial stop clock in your ear sometimes can really throw off the honesty of the music. Right.
That's why we make it. That's why we make Wyatt do it.
Yeah, Wyatt, our drummer is an absolute machine. His meter is great, but obviously, when your producer's Glenn Tabor, who's worked with everybody, he's like, okay, I'm gonna set this click. This click feel good. He goes, yeah, it's in your got your little headphone mixer, And I turn the damn thing off and I follow the right foot, just like I do every other time. So as long as he's on it, I'm gonna be on it, and he's always on it. So So we don't booger up the whole thing with the singer having to hear the click track as well, or the bass player.
Yeah, that can be kind of annoying hearing your tracks back. One time I did a record with my friends and I could hear the click tracks back
Yeah.
you know, because we were in the middle of recording, but we each got a copy of the songs with the click tracks.
Yeah.
And like just hearing it all back, it was like the most annoying thing, right? Imagine
Oh
being
yeah.
here and hearing that. But
It'll suck the life right out of it, brother.
Yeah, because then you become tense. So
Oh yeah, well you get more worried about the thing, and then you have to argue because nowadays you got any sound you want to use for said click track. It's not just a wood block kind of sound. It's like Wyatt wants crazy ass stuff, and I'm like, I dang sure don't want to hear what he's got going on. So it's long as he's good, we're good.
yeah, as long as the chemistry works together in the room and on stage, and you guys know how to handle yourselves, it definitely makes a big difference when people come to see you and hear your records, and you know, and see you guys, you converse with each other like online, or you know, talk online and stuff like that. People connect with you, so
we
you know,
have a lot of fun.
Yeah, this
absolutely.
is fun.
We really enjoy what we're doing, and it we hope it shows, and people seem to think it does show that we genuinely love what we're doing.
Yeah, it definitely does show. I mean, even through the music, like, you can tell that you guys are having fun, and it's real.
Recording's fun, but I live to play live on these
Yeah,
festival stages, man. That's just where it's at. It's a
yeah,
necessary evil of spending the money going in and recording the record so you can tour. You know,
Yeah,
yeah.
but the creative process is the other exciting part.
I just take the red light being on.
Well, I mean, like the creative process is great too, but it could also be the most time consuming part, right?
Oh,
Right.
it can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, especially when it's not working.
Yes.
You know, because everything's not that. You know, we developed a philosophy years ago where we just try it. If somebody has an idea, we try it. We don't argue about it for 30 minutes. We just try it. And once you try it, it either worked or it didn't, and everybody knows whether it worked or
Yeah,
whether
you
it
know
didn't.
immediately whether it's working or not. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, that's good because, you know, obviously a lot of bands could actually take some notes from you because, you know, people have ideas and sometimes it goes one way and one way only. And it's hard to blend the chemistry and the talent together and the ideas, obviously, right?
I wouldn't make a record by myself for anything right now.
but Ronnie will come in with an idea, but he doesn't tell me how the bass line
No, I
goes.
don't.
Yeah.
Don't want to. Why
you know.
would I? Why would anybody do that?
Well, I
know?
mean,
Yeah.
you come in and it's like you got an idea. Okay, I'm thinking about this for chorus, thinking about this for verse, thinking about this, and then somebody's going to look over. Ben's going to look over. Well, why don't we use that for the chorus and everything? And you just like, well, all right, let's try it and see. And then I said, okay, that's much better. Okay.
Yeah.
Or whether or not, no, damn it, this is how I wrote this. And this is how this song goes. There's none of that garbage, George.
Yeah, we obviously all know what how that happens sometime.
Oh yeah, I've been there,
Been
done
there,
that.
done that. Don't want to do it
Don't want to
anymore.
do it again. Yeah, that's it.
It's good to keep an open mind. That's the result of this conversation,
Yeah,
especially
for
when
sure.
creating music. This is Meet Me for Coffee, conversations over coffee with rockers, entertainers, and just normal people. I like your Yeti there, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Stone Yeti.
there you go. See, there you go.
Beautiful.
We actually, somebody had made these and brought them out to the show when we did the Johnny Webb Memorial Show. Gave everybody in the band one and had some there. So that's my travel coffee mug. That's everything, So yeah, it holds lots of coffee and lots of everything else.
Yeah. Well, how do you guys take your coffee?
It depends on what it is.
With Bailey's.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it depends on what it is. I mean, I drink
I like
espresso.
Bailey's.
I drink, I drink if it's a good blended, a good coffee. I drink it black, but usually with a little light, little sweet.
Yeah, I would be lying
strong.
if I told you right now I wasn't having a Bailey's in my coffee right now. Just,
Yeah, exactly. A little Kahlua,
Yeah.
whatever.
Kahlúa's good.
yeah, it mixes up pretty well too, right? So, and
I mean, just for the flavor. I mean,
Exactly.
just for the flavor.
Exactly.
just the flavor, right?
Just
Yeah.
for the flavor.
Nothing
That's
too
exactly.
excessive.
No,
Well, guys, thank you so much. This has been awesome. It's
We
a long
appreciate
time
you having
coming.
us. Thank you, man. Yeah, brother.
Jim and Ronnie from Preacher Stone.